Tolkien never called the nameless things monsters. We did. And that mistake changes everything. Because a monster has teeth, a monster has eyes, a monster has a shape. But Tolkien gave us something worse, a word with no shape at all. Things. Far, far below the deepest delvings of the Dwarves, the world is gnawed by nameless things. Even Sauron knows them not. They are older than he. Tolkien gave us one passage, a few lines, and then nothing else. The most terrifying word in that passage may be the smallest one. Things. Not beasts, not demons, not spirits. Things. The word sounds empty. That is why it is terrifying. A creature belongs to nature. A demon belongs to evil. A spirit belongs to metaphysics. But a thing is what language says when classification fails. And if Tolkien chose the vaguest word in his vocabulary, he did it on purpose. The easy question is, what did Gandalf see? This film asks the darker one. Why do we assume there was something to see? Because the moment you can picture a monster, you have already made the horror smaller. A monster has a shape, a mouth, a body, a weakness. A monster can be fought, named, killed, remembered. But the nameless things resist all of this. Readers do not naturally describe them as creatures. They reach for metaphors, scars, unused matter, darkness as substance, truth without shape. Which means the real question is no longer what they looked like. The real question is whether looking was ever the right word. And maybe the horror is not what they are. Maybe the horror is that language reached them first and failed. So we go down 4 levels: a scar, a substance, a life before light, and finally, matter before meaning. Each level makes the word monster less useful and the world a little darker. The first possibility is the least impossible. Maybe they are scars in the music. A wound left where Melkor's discord entered creation. Not flesh, not bone, pressure. But even a scar has edges. A scar still belongs to a body. And the theories go darker than that. In most stories, darkness is absence, a lack of light. But Tolkien gives us a precedent, Ungoliant. She does not merely hide in darkness, she produces unlight, not ordinary shadow, not the absence of light, a darkness that devours light. She makes darkness behave like matter. So what if the nameless things are not animals living in darkness? What if they are what happens when darkness becomes old enough, dense enough, and strange enough to behave like life? Not darkness you walk into, darkness that walks back. This is not absence, this is substance. Or perhaps something even older. At the bottom of our oceans, life survives where sunlight has never won. No sky, no dawn, no green world above, only pressure, cold, silence, darkness. Now move that image into myth. Before kingdoms, before language, before memory, something may already have existed deep below Arda, not waiting, simply there. Something that did not evolve in darkness, darkness evolved around it. One phrase from the comments captures the image perfectly. The chaos of the void given tangible form. Not confirmed lore, but a terrifying way to understand the feeling Tolkien left behind. And maybe that is why the story gives them no place, because not all life was meant for light, and not all ancient wants to rise.
Wait, it gets worse. Because if those last ideas still feel almost comforting, life, however alien, is still life, here is the real abyss. What if they were never alive? Not beasts, not spirits, not demons, not monsters, not concepts, not abstractions, things, just matter, unused existence, reality before form, before identity, before morality, before story. Not evil, not good, not conscious, just something. A modern phrase fits strangely well here. Bad code. Not evil code, not conscious code, just a piece of reality that never compiled into meaning. This may belong to something before morality, before story knew where to put it. Not lost lore, pre-lore.
A monster can be struck. A force can be resisted. But how do you resist something that does not even recognize contact? You touch it, and the idea of touching means nothing there. Evil can be fought. Corruption can be resisted. Darkness can be endured. But what do you do with something that does not even know it is supposed to be your enemy? Something your mind was never built to process. Reality before language found a shape for it. And Gandalf looked at it.
Maybe this is too far. Maybe Tolkien only meant ancient, horrible creatures under the world. Something foul, something old, something best left unnamed. Maybe the safest answer is the simplest one, but then the text refuses to behave simply. Why things? Why no origin? Why no shape? Why no name? Why does even Sauron not know? This is not theory pulled from nowhere. It follows the pressure points Tolkien himself left behind.
In Tolkien, names are never harmless. Kings have names, swords have names, even evils have names. Except these. To name something is to invite it into meaning, into relation, into story, into the world. A name is not just a label. Sometimes a name is an invitation. Maybe Gandalf did not refuse because he lacked words. Maybe he refused because words are doors, and some doors should not be opened from the inside.
Silence was only the first warning. The second warning was the word Tolkien chose. A monster has a shape. The nameless things are terrifying because language reached them first and failed. They are frightening not because they are monsters, but because monster may be the wrong word entirely. And maybe Tolkien never described them not to hide what they were, but because describing them would not reveal the truth. Maybe describing them would betray it.